So first I'll open Logic Pro. I'll go over to Software Instrument and choose Soundworks. But instead of choosing the standard stereo option, I'll choose the multi-out option. This will allow us to separate the instruments into their own tracks. Next, I'll open up Soundworks and choose a preset, or I can create one from scratch, which I did here. The reason I did this is so I can have a clean, unaffected kit with no added effects. I've also made sure to set all of my mic groups to 0 so that they'll all output equally. Now I'll open the Soundworks mixer page. This is where I'll assign the routing. I'll keep some groups in stereo like crashes, overheads, and the ambient room mics so that my panning positions stay intact. But the rest I'll route in mono. So first thing to do is turn off all the master routing since I don't need to create a sum stereo track. Now open the routing menu and assign kick to 3, snare to 4, my 2 rack toms to 5 and 6, my 2 floor toms to 7 and 8, hi-hat to 9, ride to 10, all crashes to stereo 11 and 12, overheads to stereo 13 and 14, and finally my ambient room mics to 15, 16. Now I'll press X on my keyboard and open the mixer in Logic. At the bottom of the first mixer channel, you'll see a plus sign, and that indicates that I'm in multi-out mode, and that will allow me to add auxiliary tracks to route these individual instruments to. For this demo, I'll need to create 11 tracks, so I'll just click the plus sign 11 times. Now in Logic, the Soundworks inputs are shown in stereo pairs. So I'll need to assign them and then separate the mono instruments so that they're on their own tracks. First, go over to Input, right-click and choose 3-4 for kick and snare, 5-6 for the 2 rack toms, 7 and 8 for the 2 floor toms, 9 and 10 for the hi-hat and ride, 11-12 for the crashes, 13-14 for the overheads, and 15-16 for the ambient mics. Next, I'll quickly add names to the channel strips. Next, open the audio effects and go down to Utility, Gain, Stereo. Now once that's open, choose Mono and pan the kick to the far left. Now move over to the snare and do the same to the far right. A quick way to add this effect is to hold down Option and choose and slide the effect over to the next channel. Now I'll do the same for the 2 rack toms and the 2 floor toms. And again do the same for the hi-hat and the ride. The rest can stay as is since I left them in stereo in Soundworks. One more thing to do here is to add some quick panning to the rack toms, hi-hat, and ride. I'll set these to plus and minus 15 and then I'll move my floor toms to the right. Now I'll test this to see if these instruments are all routed correctly. I can either press the play button in Soundworks and play back the default groove, or I can add my own MIDI track and play back from there. Okay, cool. It looks like the assignments are all correct. Now, if I close the mixer, you'll notice that my arrange window isn't showing the 11 tracks I just created. So to see these in the arrange window, I'll need to open the mixer and select all the tracks, Just click in the first channel strip and hold down Shift, then click on the last channel. Once all of your channels are selected, right-click and choose Create a Track. Now click X on your keyboard to close the mixer and you'll see that your new channels are all visible in the Arrange window. Now that the instruments are separated, you can assign any plugins you like to each track to customize your sound. And if you want to render these tracks as audio so that you can share this project with others who may not have Soundworks, then it's easy. Just select your tracks, go over to File, go down to Bounce, and choose the Bounce Tracks in Place. Once you do this, you'll see your audio tracks are next to your auxiliary tracks. Now just save your project and that's it. I hope you found this helpful and I'll see you in the next one.